All right, guys, welcome to 5,000 Miles, where we review television and movies. And this is our first opportunity to dive into the world of movies because, Michael B. Jordan's in this new movie, Sinners, and it was something that Vince and I both took the time to watch very recently. And here we are to tell you whether or not you should check it out as well.
We've been gone a long time. We back now.
This gift can bring fame and fortune.
Will somebody take me in your eyes?
But it also can pierce the veil between life and death.
I'm down here in the Mississippi Delta, come to you live.
I love the backdrop. Is that the guy walking into the church?
Yeah, exactly.
Very, very cool. So I think we should start with, if you could, spoiler-free take on what you thought of the film.
I thought it was a great idea with almost matchingly great execution. I think there's a couple things that they fumbled a little bit, but other than that, I mean, the movie looks great, it feels great. I really enjoyed this. It was definitely a breath of fresh air.
I thought it was wildly entertaining. I thought it
And
was
it was.
I thought it was a very unique, kind of cool plot. I think that all of the actors, Michael B. Jordan mostly, obviously, did a great job, and that anybody who is interested in the film, I can comfortably say you're not going to be disappointed. So beyond that, if all you wanted to know was whether we liked it and you should watch it, the answer is we loved it and yes. So from here on, though, spoiler alert.
So I definitely check this out. Especially like if you're a fan of vampire movies, you're gonna love this. It hits all the common vampire tropes. It definitely felt like a black From Dusk Till Dawn.
Absolutely. Okay, so as much as I want to give this movie a ton of credit for being like unique, it was the easy comp is From Dusk Till Dawn, no question about it.
Yeah, I mean it's a vampire movie, so it's not going to be extremely unique, but I think that they did a great job doing sort of like taking like that standard vampire movie kind of genre and doing it a really great service by one putting like a black spin on it, and it's not in like an exploitative type of way, so it's not like Blackula, you know.
Right.
It's not some sort of black exploitation movie, but yeah, it centers around African American characters, and I think Ryan Coogler did a fantastic job with this. Ryan Coogler is the director. He also directed the Black Panther movies. You also
Oh yeah,
know
that's
that
right. That's right.
you also know him from he was the director of Creed, where he worked with Michael B. Jordan on the Creed movies. And since we're both from Philadelphia, I'm sure you got nothing but love in your heart for the Creed franchise as well.
I do. I continue to watch them even though it's becoming more and more watered down, just like Rocky. But I watched the
Yeah.
most recent one with the tough guy and all that. I watched the most recent one.
The only thing better than Michael B. Jordan is two Michael B. Jordans.
You twins? Nah, we cousins.
We got to have two Michael B. Jordans in this movie. How great is that?
I got a real kick out of it when he was like, "You guys twins?" He's like, "Nah, we cousins."
He played Smoke and Stack. So
He
they were
was,
Smoke
yeah,
Stack
dude.
twins.
He was very likable character, very magnetic, did a fantastic job acting wise in terms of like you immediately kind of sense them as different individuals, which is a testament to Michael B.
Yeah,
Jordan.
that's what I was gonna say was that it would have been easy for him to just play two versions of the same character,
Right.
but he brought different sensibilities to the two different characters because the two different characters are, they are a little bit different from each other, and you could tell. And so you could, even if like they weren't dressed separately, you could tell
Right.
which was which just from what he brought to each role
Which is
individually. I thought he did a fantastic job with that.
it's a tall order, man. Tom Hardy did it with that movie Legend. It's like when an actor is just that cool and that magnetic, they can actually get cast and put into a movie like this and get the job done. But what I wanted to say was like, man, right from the jump, you get the opening scene with the church thing, and there's this big unknown, the kids being confronted by his father, whatever, and then he goes off. Michael B. Jordan picks him up, and they take off.
Sanders.
Oh, don't you worry now, Uncle Jake.
Gonna get them back to you in one piece.
And when you discover that he's this killer musician and starts playing that song, I'm like captivated with where the hell's this movie going, man? It kept me on the edge of my like, I'm like, where's this going? What exactly is this movie about? Because I didn't know it was going to go the vampire route.
And so I
Hmm.
was definitely like pleasantly surprised to watch the whole thing play out and see how they got around to doing it. And I like the pacing of the movie. Some people had complaints that the first half of the movie drug on a little too much,
Oh
but
no,
I
man.
thought the
It laid the
yeah, I
backdrop
thought
really
the
well.
I thought the pacing of the movie was fantastic. I love one of the things that I really liked about this movie was how gorgeous it looked. The
It really did, man.
cinematographer is a woman named Autumn Arkapaw, and she also worked on one or two of the Black Panther movies. And I
Hmm.
think she did a fantastic job. There's certain parts of the movie changes aspect ratio throughout different parts of the movie. So you have certain parts where it's a really wide frame, and it kind
Yeah.
of reminds me of like old school spaghetti westerns, like
Hmm.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, or some Sergio Leone films. Also, it reminded me of The Hateful Eight by Quentin Tarantino, where it has that really wide aspect ratio, and you
Yeah.
see a lot of like gorgeous landscapes, and you see like when they're driving through like the cotton fields. I mean, those shots look fantastic.
So, I mean, what
And
was it, like 1930s Mississippi? Is that what it
yeah,
was?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the
You fucking
the
felt like you were
30s.
there, man. You really did.
You did. It felt fantastic. It was a great period piece. And then later on, when they get to the end with the vampire fight, when they're inside the barn there,
Come on in, you motherfucker!
Yeah.
um,
It felt
then
like a video game for a
you see
second,
the
dude.
yeah, you see the aspect ratio get even bigger, and they end up in that huge IMAX frame. And that whole vampire fight is shot in that IMAX, that almost square aspect ratio, and it looks fantastic. They did a great job on that, man.
Yeah, man. I want to make a comment on the casting because
Okay.
beyond Michael B. Jordan, everyone was immediately likable. The main character or the main guy character, the musician himself, he was incredibly likable, and his voice is really, man, that guy's got a hell of a voice, and I'm not just talking about singing wise. He's got this
Sammy,
baritone.
yeah, so that was the character was Sammy Moore, played by Miles Katon.
I'm Sammy Moore. I'm a sharecropper from Sunflower Plantation.
And
Great
he was
job, man.
fucking amazing.
He
I
was
mean, like
great.
when they're in the car, I had the same reaction as Michael B. Jordan did
I
when they're
thought
in the
that was
car.
such a good job
And
when Michael D. Jordan's like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Yo, he just took the words right out of my mouth."
yeah, when he starts singing and Michael B. Jordan looks at me, he's like,
We
"Oh,
gonna make
that's
some
exactly." I was
money.
like, "Whoa, that's exactly how I felt."
I was
And
so
he
into it.
is Michael Caton. He is a musician also, and he comes from a musical background. So it was a friend of his recommended that he audition for this movie, and he did a great job.
It
You wouldn't
was,
know it that he was a musician first,
yeah,
and he did just as good of a job acting as he did on the music side of it. As a
for
matter of
sure.
fact, I don't know if you saw the very end, but there's actually a post-credit scene where he plays a little bit too. So if you guys haven't seen the movie yet, stay till the end and go watch the post-credit scene. This is a little bit relevant right now because we're right in that middle period in between. The movie is no longer in theaters right now, but in on July 4th, so like less than a week from now, it's going to be premiering on HBO. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, it's going to be showing up on HBO Max pretty soon.
Very cool. Yeah, it was. So yeah, how about the old guy that they meet with the harmonica and then his
Are you talking about
backstory?
Delta Slim?
Dude, so I loved him right as soon as you meet
Cone
him.
liquor. Cone liquor. We
It
just
was,
talking about I get paid in cone liquor. I was like,
yeah,
Amen, brother.
he said
Amen.
something to him
Because
that was
I
legitimately funny.
I've gotten paid in corn liquor before as well. And so ain't nothing wrong with that. That's
They
for
were like,
sure.
"How about he said something to him like, I'll pay you twice as much money and a bottle of booze." And then they hard cut to them like dancing around like
I got 500 more bottles just like that. Ice cold.
it's like,
Yeah,
"Yep, that
and
sounds like a good deal."
because he's got the Irish beer, which I guess at that
Yeah.
time was something that was uh harder to get a hold of beer than it probably was the liquor, because liquor they could make it right there, but to get some Irish beer is probably a very prized commodity back in those days. Do you know who played Delta Slim?
Was that a dude from where do we know him from? The Wire or something like that?
That dude who played Delta Slim is my boy Delroy Lindo. And Delroy Lindo, he hasn't been in too much lately. I know one thing that you'll know him from is that he was the voice of one of the dogs in the movie Up, the
Oh
Pixar
yeah.
movie Up.
Yeah.
He was the dog Beta. But I remember Delroy Lindo very fondly from the 90s and like early 2000s. He had a string of fantastic movies where he played like a cop or something like that. He always played like cop roles. um he was in Get Shorty. He was
Yeah.
in Broken Arrow. He was in Ransom starring Mel Gibson. So he was in a lot of like big 90s movies. He was in The Cider House Rules, Romeo Must Die, Gone in 60 Seconds. He was in the movie The One starring Jet Li, which is low key like one of my favorite. Like it's like kind of a dumb sci-fi martial arts movie with Jet Li, but I had that movie on DVD growing up, and I watched The One probably 100 times. And Delroy Lindo's great in that.
Dude,
He
Sutter
hasn't
House
been in
Rules is low key good movie, man. It's
Cider
really it's
House
good.
Rules is fantastic.
It's a
And
good
I mean
movie.
Delroy Lindo hasn't been in too much right now, but I think he stole like almost every scene that he was in. I
He was
love
great.
Delroy
Even when
Lindo.
you also when you like thought he was a vampire for a second, he was just like, ah, I'm
Yeah.
okay.
I drank too much. The goddamn beer from Chicago. My nerves all fucked up.
Is he's choking on the garlic or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then
That was so good, man. And as soon as I saw him, I was like, "Oh, Delroy Lindo!" I was so excited to see him in something after I
also
hadn't seen him in anything in a long
yeah.
time.
Also the main vampire dude, like the evilest of the evil.
That was Remmick, and he was played by Jack O'Connell.
Hey there.
Good evening. How may I help you folks?
Oh, we heard tale of a party.
I think people know him from somewhere. So for some people, it was tough to see him as the main villain because they like him elsewhere.
So I didn't have that problem. So
Nor
for
do
for
I.
me, I felt him pick up that role right away. So for
Yeah.
me, I didn't have that issue. Yeah, I thought he did a great job. I don't think there was anybody in this movie that didn't do a fantastic job. I really liked all the characters, and I
Yeah.
thought Ryan Coogler got a great performance out of everybody.
So, okay, on one hand, and here's why I like the movie so much, because I really, really did like it. Because on one hand, it's just this entertaining, suck you in, vampire thing, lots of cool sequences, blah, blah, blah. It all plays
Right,
out. And that
right,
was what it
right.
was. But underneath it all, you've got this relationship between the two brothers that actually played out as being really substantial. When they're having that scene, the vampire Michael B. Jordan is making his case to try and get the still living Jordan to come over to him, or and he's going, "There is no me without you."
We was never gonna be free. We've been running around everywhere looking for freedom. You know damn well you was never gonna find it. Until this. This is the way. Together. Forever. And I ain't doing this shit without you. There is no me without you. What's it gonna be?
Blah 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 blah. And the look on the still living Michael B. It was heavy. If you chose to look into it as somewhat of a character study, it actually had some teeth, I thought. And that was really what I liked the most, was that
No,
there was you could actually some takeaways from it. It wasn't just a damn vampire movie.
No, I mean, there's definitely a lot of subtext to be explored in this movie, especially since it is a black movie, so there's a lot of issues to deal with race. But before we get into that, one cool thing to mention, what you were talking about, was when he was trying to give him the sales pitch on becoming a vampire,
Yeah.
and it was pretty crazy because if you think about it, at one point I was just like, why don't they just close the damn door, right? Why are they sitting there?
Yeah.
At a certain point, it's just like, just close the fucking door, right?
Yeah.
Don't sit here and listen to the sales pitch from the vampires. But, he did make a very convincing argument of like, the KKK guys were just going to sell you this place and then turn around and kill you and take it right back.
Right.
And that you guys are already dead and this world has already forgotten about you, but we can all be together and we can be one big family of vampires and we look out for each other. And it was actually at a certain point I was like, you know what? The man makes some strong points.
Because
I
the
hate
thing
to
is, like,
hate to say it, but he's making some strong points. I mean, what are you gonna do? Go back to living your life and just sit around and wait for some redneck white trash people to come and kill you anyway?
right. And
Why not become a vampire at a certain
seriously,
point?
so I was really taken with that scene. And I also like, the concept that you'd be looking at a loved one who you now know is gone to the other side and it isn't actually
Right.
there. But it isn't this bloodthirsty, crazy, evil demon vampire thing. It knows your inner thoughts. It
It
knows
knows your
what
inner thoughts,
tugs at
yeah.
your heartstrings and it can appeal to your deepest emotions.
Just
That
like when
is a novel idea.
he was speaking Chinese to
Yeah.
the character Grace,
And
who's
talking to
the
her
the
about her
Chinese leader,
sexual proclivities, right?
and talking to her in Chinese and saying that they also knew where her daughter was, so they were going to go pay her a little bit of a visit. How scary, how terrifying of a moment is that?
You should listen to him, Grace, or listen to me. Because I know everything he knows now. And I want you to let us in there. Or we gonna go to the grocery store. We gonna pay little Lisa a visit.
No, no, don't you fucking dare!
When you
Well,
know
that
that the
was the thing.
vampires not only are they bloodthirsty, but they now know everything and they
No,
know how to get to you.
that might be the novel idea of the film. Like I can't think of another story like that where it's like, shit, man. They're walking up and they even were like good at it too. Like the one guy's like, grab your shit, honey. We gotta go. Hop in the car. Like it's like these guys are duplicitous.
Yeah, or the guy Cornbread when he's like, "Come on, man, just let me in,"
Yeah,
and he's like,
like,
You've been in here all day. What do you need?" He's like, "All right, well, just pay me." And I'm sitting there like, "Just throw the money out of the door. Don't put your hand out. Just throw the money out of the door." And yeah, and so I love that. It's kind of a stupid trope about vampires having to be invited in, but it was it was so much fun to watch this whole movie
nah, you
and
needed it.
watch them try to learn the rules. What they can and can't do.
Yeah. What are the rules? What are the
What are the
rules?
rules?
When you just turn black and you can't turn back. That's always sunny,
Um,
sorry.
and so let's talk a little bit about the race aspect of it too, because there's a lot of racial subtext in this movie, and
Yeah.
I know the number one thing that the internet wants to hear is two unknown white guys talking about the racial subtext of a black movie. But let's give it a go. I mean, definitely the idea of them holding on to their blackness and their black music, because we see when they're in the barn and they're dancing and they're conjuring the spirits of all the different musicians from over the years, past and present and future.
Yeah, it was that
That
was
that
really fucking heavy. Like to try and figure out the point they're making as that scene is unfolding. I love it.
Right. Right. And so yeah, to watch that scene and then see that like sort of their black identity is tied to this music, and then as they get turned into vampires, then they're slowly turning over to the Irish side and singing the Irish music as
Yeah,
well.
and they're throwing it
I thought
back
that
in
was
their
really funny.
face by dancing around.
And
They're kind of being
I
like, "Hey."
I gotta say, they were throwing down on the Irish music when they started doing the river dance and they're doing like the Irish jigs. there was a couple points in there where I was laughing, where it was a little bit like funny, but
Yeah,
the music was actually really good as well.
it was awesome.
And I remember some of the cast also saying that like they really enjoyed the Irish music too, and it was captivating.
Yeah, I thought that that Riverdance, I loved the scene where they were kind of showing the cultural reach of just music in general, black music in general, showing how many different places it's gone and how significant it is. And you're trying to figure out that they're making that point with the scene. All that stuff, I didn't think that it went on too long. The Riverdance thing, I didn't understand what they were getting at first. So I was just like, blah, 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 blah. It like took the whole scene for me to get to the point where I'm like, okay, I get what they're doing. That went on for a little too long though.
But that definitely cracked me up. I enjoyed that whole scene. And then the only thing that I would say, I thought that they did a really great job. The only thing I would say that they fumbled a little bit on the execution of the point that they were trying to make by using the Irish people in particular, and like they could have just used the white people to symbolize the vampires, but they used the Irish people in particular. And if you know anything about Irish history, especially around the turn of the century when the Irish folks first started showing up in America, they weren't Irish people weren't considered white.
Oh
They were
God. No.
they weren't allowed to apply for jobs. They were looked down as subhuman. And even when they came over to America from England or from Ireland, when they were chased out of the UK by the quote unquote potato famine, which was actually a man-made famine. It was sort of a synthetic famine that was created. Irish people were were viewed also as second-class citizens just as much as the Southern blacks were at this time. And it seemed like it would have made more sense to have it just be like the redneck white people, have them be the vampires instead of the
Yeah,
Irish people.
fair
But to
enough.
be fair,
But
to
that
be
didn't even
fair,
dawn on me, to be honest. I
yeah,
mean, I kind of agree with you, but it didn't dawn on me when I was watching it.
but to be fair, I have seen Irish people catch fire in the sun.
I'm three quarters Irish, and I love that I'm not fully Irish.
Yeah,
Even though
you
I like Irish culture, because I would burn in the damn sun for sure if I was 25% more Irish than I am.
so in to that extent, it does make sense that the Irish are vampires and can't be in the
Right.
sun. I mean, you look like you're getting a tan just from your ring light there.
Yeah, well, I was out in the sun earlier today with my shirt off, walking the dogs around, so I'm probably
Yeah.
glowing a little bit. Okay, so like when you go to like there was an actual takeaway here from the film because after everything that happens, he goes back, is confronted and with his preacher father, and it's like, okay, is he just going to stick his tail between his legs, learn his lesson, and become a churchman? No, he and the movie is saying to me that if you have a true passion, you follow that passion wherever it takes you, the good and the bad that comes with something that you truly love.
No matter
And
what.
no matter what, and for a vampire movie to go bother trying to make that point and then to have it actually like because just when you think the movie's going to end there, they throw you a curveball. He becomes a successful musician. We go way ahead in time, which was very, very cool. And then you see him and you think to yourself there, okay, that's going to be it. He got away with it and became a musician. And then
Right.
just when you think that's true, the two vampires walk in after all these years. And you think they're going to kill him and then they don't. And then so it's like curveball, 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 curveball in terms of what this movie's going to be about and the point
Yeah.
that they're trying to make. And then his final statement, it was a fucking amazing day, wasn't it? And it's like, yeah, it was. And then the vampire goes, it's the last time I saw my brother. It's the last time I saw the sun.
But before the sun went down, I think that was the best day of my life. Was it like that for you?
No doubt about it. Last time I seen my brother. Love you. Last time I seen the sun.
It was great. A kind of a comment about fleeting happiness, fleeting greatness, special moments, and how difficult they can be. So really, I don't think that they hit anybody over the head with this is what this movie's about. This should be your takeaway. This is the kind of movie that this is. They kind of threw a bunch of stuff in and let you have your takeaway. You want to come up with something profound, it's there to be had.
Yeah.
You want to think it's goofy, zombie, Dusk Till Dawn kind of movie? Fine, you can do that too. But I think there's a lot to be had here, and I think that this is a movie that's going to have staying power in the years to come. People are going to talk about this movie as a quality fucking film that's interesting and unique. And, you
Yeah,
know,
no, I mean it's definitely going to be a staple
yeah,
in the vampire genre for years to come. I think they did a great job, and Ryan Coogler knocked it out of the ballpark. And especially when it was in the theaters, it went up against the new Avengers movie, and it did more money than the Avengers movie. Now, granted, Ryan
good.
Coogler did already direct a Marvel movie,
Yeah,
so he has that in his back pocket, but this movie definitely deserves all the praise that it's been receiving, and I think it's a must watch.
yeah.
I think it deserves to be seen by as many people as possible.
So my number one question to our viewing audience, such as it is, would be, what was your takeaway? How did this movie make you feel more so than anything else? Was it pure entertainment? Was it Michael B. Jordan's acting and the relationship that was depicted between him and his brother that got you most? Was it the music? Was it the racial element? Was it the comedy? Was it the vampires? There's so much here. So let us know.
Was it the text? Was it the subtext? I think
Yeah.
this movie's got it all.
What grabbed you most? I'd love to hear from you. Me and Vince laid it out here in long form, what we thought about it. I'd love to hear what you liked most about the film.
All right, and so if I'm going to give it a score, I'm going to give it 4,582 miles out of 5,000.
Out of 5,000 miles?
5,000 miles. 4,582.
I'm going to go ahead and give it 4,000 out of 5,000 miles.
Yeah. All right, that's still a glowing recommendation.
Yeah, anything over 3,500 miles.
Anything over 3,500 miles
Is good.
Yeah, is
So yeah, cool. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If there's any other movies that you think are cool that have come out or whatever that we should check out, let us know. Rick and Morty will be coming up. Stay tuned. See you guys in the next one.
Take me.